Brandon Crow watching from Hockey Canada. Writes in and he says, my wife and her two sisters all played NCAA Division I hockey. They attribute it to waiting around that chute as kids and using those prairie oysters as hockey puck. Shooting them for the dog. Here's
Bingo!
one. All the raw testicles that I collected one day, I put them in a margarine container. Remember the old Imperial margarine that had the purple crowns around it? I put them all in there, and I took them to a party, a bush party. You've been there, Moose. You weren't at that one, but you've been to them. And I was going to cook them. I was going to cook them and make people eat them and not tell them what they were till after. But it didn't matter because Philip Kenyon took one, popped it in his mouth, crunched it raw. And he was smiling, and the blood ran down.
And he knew what it was?
I will never forget. He knew what it was. Philip Kenyon.
That was Fear Factor before there was Fear Factor with Joe Rogan.
I know. Beer might have been involved. But the next time that we're driving to Montana, I'll show you exactly where it is, because a lot of stuff went down at that site. A lot of stuff. I'm not going to go any further, but just remind me later. I'll tell you about the bikers that were on their way back from Sturgis from the rally that stopped at our party.
Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show.
One night in Edmonton, we were out on the town, and there was a guy by the name of Bain Norrie.
How about that?
Bain says, "Did I ever tell you guys about the night I was out with Rolling Stones?" And I'm like, "Come on, what was Mick Jagger like?" And he's like, "Well, no, Mick Jagger and Keith Richards weren't there. It was the rest of the band." And I hit the floor. "You weren't with the Rolling Stones then, Bain."
Keith Richards and Mick Jagger are the Rolling Stones.
Exactly.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hi, everybody. Yes, it absolutely is. Welcome to a very special show. It is our Grey Cup Week Football Friday, coming at you live here on Game Plus Television and WQEE Radio. And we're in two locations. It's been a very busy and fun week. And I think, my mic somehow got knocked. There you go. I'm blasting through to everybody. You have me now? This will be probably our most viewed show of the year. I'm in the South Florida studio covering Grey Cup from here. And let's go to the Grey Cup Festival in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, where this is the final week of the Canadian Football League season. But nobody, I don't think, is thinking about the game right now. We have a lot to talk about. Darren Moose DuPont is there, and I'm just going to tell everybody, I'm going to push pretty much all of the sports into the sports updates today. The warm-up's going to be entirely dedicated to football and 90% of it to the Grey Cup, Darren. But you're there. I know you've got a lot to contribute, but just give me the vibe, the feel. What are you seeing? What's going on right now in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada?
It's pretty awesome. The day's getting moving pretty quickly. You know, the mornings are kind of quiet, but the excitement's been building because here at the Grey Cup Festival at the Hamilton Convention Center, all the individual team parties here at the headquarters are going to be opening their doors right now, right at noon Eastern. So the doors are open just down the street on James Street. The Calgary Grey Cup Committee is having their Stampede-style pancake breakfast that's on for another hour. So things are starting to turn here.
Oh, yeah, the horse will be crapping on the street, that white horse from the Stampeders. That always happens, right? The usual Grey Cup traditions. Well, and I got to tell you this. Anybody that's been watching all week long knows that I've been to 21 Grey Cups. I'm not at this one because of commitments here in the USA, but that hasn't stopped me from doing all kinds of interviews today. Global Toronto, Global Montreal, Edmonton Sports Radio today. And it was just funny because Candace at Global Toronto and Anthony Robart, both people that I have long connections with, past lives, I guess, they were like, let's go to Florida to talk about the Grey Cup in Hamilton. And I'm like, I know, I don't get it either. But we had a great time talking about it. And listen, I'm already excited about next year's in Vancouver. But we're here today to talk about the 110th Grey Cup. And our guests include TSN's Jim Barker and Jeff Reinebold. Are you in the kitchen? I hear things dropping and bombs going off there. What's going on where you're at right now?
I'm taking a look around. There's some last-minute setup for the days going down. Again, all the team parties are down these corridors on either side. So, yeah, they're working hard.
All these Grey Cup stories are coming to mind here right now. But let's put it this way. Everybody's sleeping. So let's be very, very quiet. Jeff Reinebold in hour 2, Jim Barker in hour 1. Can you hit the quick 6 show horn, please? Director Jordan, as we are back. We are back under the tutelage and guidance of IKS Media, our production partner. Number 1, we will open with the National Football League. A tough night for the Cincinnati Bengals. They lost quarterback Joe Burrow with a sprained wrist and dropped a 34-20 decision to the Baltimore Ravens. Backup Jake Browning replaced Burrow with Cincinnati down by 4 points in the second quarter. The Ravens now lead the AFC North Division at 8-3. We'll do NFL Deal or No Deal next hour, but people came here today to talk about the CFL. So point 2 of our quick 6 show topics is this. The CFL handed out its awards for the 2023 season. They did it Thursday night at Fallsview Casino in Niagara. The outstanding player honor goes to Toronto quarterback Chad Kelly for guiding the Argos to a 16-2 record. His runner-up won the top Canadian award, Brady Oliveira of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, their top rusher, CFL's top rusher. BC lineman Matthew Betts won the Defensive Player of the Year award. Toronto's Ryan Dinwiddie was named Coach of the Year, which we all knew that was coming down the pipe. He'd trade that all in for a chance to be playing in the Grey Cup Sunday, but that's not going to happen. It's Winnipeg versus Montreal. Darren, you were there at beautiful Fallsview Casino. It looked epic. Tell us about it.
It was epic. And, I want to make sure, I said it on social, but I want to make sure we give the CFL their due because everything about it was first class and big time. From when you came in, valet parking, the fountain was going outside the casino, right at the big screen and display when you came up front was Fallsview Casino, and then 110th Grey Cup awards. Shaggy presented the first award. The red carpet was first class. These players were treated like they should be treated. I thought everything about it was great, and I hope the CFL can build off of it. What a night.
Yeah. On Edmonton 1440 Sports Radio this morning, I was on with Eddie Steele. He goes, what did you think of the awards? Did they get it right? And I'm like, I didn't even pay a whole lot of attention to that, who the winners and runners-up were. I read some of them. I'm just not the biggest awards guy because the biggest one is going to be handed out on Sunday in the Grey Cup. It's nice, but the awards that matter are the championships. That's what we count. For the most part, I understand most outstanding player, most outstanding lineman, all go on the Wikipedia. And you look it up one day if you look it up on the players, but it's not that big of a deal. It really last night was about the show, and they did knock it out of the park there. The one thing that I did hear from multiple people, and it even rang through in my own mind, some of the photos of the players and what was going on there at Fallsview Casino, I'm like, I don't know who this guy is, and I don't know who that guy is. And I got that from fans that were writing into our social media accounts. So that's something the CFL needs to get rectified. These faces, these players in the CFL need to be household names across Canada. That's a fact, Jack, and that's something that can be talked about in the offseason. Point 3, Danny Machoch's fingerprints are all over the Montreal Alouettes roster, mostly because they have to be. The franchise's uncertain future this offseason not only cost it such veterans as quarterback Trevor Harris and receiver Eugene Lewis, but resulted in Machocha getting a late start on finding their replacements. But the decision to hire a head coach he knew well in Jason Maas and adding CFL veterans like quarterback Cody Fajardo, D lineman Sean Lemon, linebacker Darnell Sankey have all contributed to Montreal getting back to the Grey Cup for the first time since 2010. That's one of the stories that's being worked on by the Canadian press. Do you think that the Alouettes finish off this road? I mean, it's a Cinderella story. I guess now would be a good time to talk about it. We got all show to discuss that, but it's a hell of a story for Montreal. Does the carriage turn into a pumpkin at midnight Saturday in the Grey Cup, or do they finish it off? What do you think?
Are we making our official picks right now? We kind of came through it.
Nah,
Took 24 hours to
what do
think
you
about
think?
it.
You think it's going to be close? What?
You know what? I do. It's a big game. I think it's going to be close. I don't know. I can't tell you who's going to win the football game, but I can tell you that you don't come this far to lay an egg. It happens. It has happened, but I see too many people around the Montreal Alouettes that have been there before and done that. You know, Machocha's won a Grey Cup. Anthony Calvillo on that staff. Jason Moss. I don't think they come there this far just to lay an egg. I don't know if they'll win, but I think it'll be close.
Yeah. Well, this is the fun topic. It's actually, I'm having a lot of fun just following from here. This is like the only year that I'll miss the Grey Cup. I plan to be in Vancouver next year. So I'm just kind of watching everything, but people are writing me now that I know are closet CFL fans, people from all across the continent. What do you think is going to happen? What's your prediction? And we'll save it for later. I've gone on record. It's on in my commentary today. I'm saying Bombers by 6 points or less. That's what I think. But when I was on Global Television this morning with Anthony Robart, we were talking about the CFL, and I get it. He's a news guy. Like the news, apparently there's a world outside the sports world. That's what I hear. You know, I don't really want to dabble in that world. But it's just, I said to Anthony when the interview was over, I said, see you next year. Because we sit here and talk about this stuff every week. It's something that's called the Canadian Football League. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. I said to you this morning, now you don't want to miss any of the CFL stuff. You're going back tomorrow. You're posting all the photos to our social media. I'm like, oh, you got bitten by the CFL bug, did you, Darren? It's awesome. It's freaking awesome. But why is this such a big deal across the country 1 week out of the year? It's not up to me to make it more so, I don't think. I guess that's the way it is.
Yeah, it is the way it is. But, it can be better. And like you said, making these players household names all across the league and all across the country, that'll be the factor. And they do have some of that. Obviously, the guys that are on TSN, the guys and gals, when they walk in, everybody knows who they are. They're on every week. Their faces are on there with their names all the time. So everybody knows who Jim Barker is and Kate Burness, and Milt Stegall walked in and owned the place. We knew who Willie Jefferson was. He popped in, so we know some of the faces, but we don't know all of them. I had people whispering to me, who's that? Who's that? And I had other media people asking, and I'm like, that's Javon Lee. That's Matthew Betts. That's some of these guys that are going to win some awards. But the one guy I'll say that was there last night that I was like, oh, you're here. And I wasn't expecting, but I mean, I guess I should. He doesn't live far from here. Kevin Glenn was at the awards last night looking fine, looking good. And so it was good to see Kevin Glenn at the CFL Awards.
Blue streak. I call him Blue Streak. And he gets a kick out of that because of his striking resemblance to Martin Lawrence. But that's something that the CFL needs to talk about at their winter meetings this year, that people don't know who their players are. And that's not a shot at the CFL, because it's very evident after all the interviews that I've done across the country, I'm a CFL guy. But when your fans don't know who the players are, that's a problem. To the game, and it's our poll question today. Our poll's brought to you daily by Key Yorkton Kia. Unleash the future. Kia EV6 GT at Key Yorkton Kia, where performance and innovation go hand in hand. Go to keyyorktonkia.com or call 306-783-2772 for more information. The 23 Kia EV6 GT, movement that inspires. I'm going to have to go to the big board here in a second, and I'll tell you why. Our poll question is, who's going to be the MVP of the 110th Grey Cup? Will it be the quarterbacks? One of the quarterbacks, Zach Caleros of Winnipeg, Montreal's Cody Fajardo. Will it be the running back for Winnipeg, Brady Oliveira, that everybody loves? Will it be Austin Mack, the flavor of the week receiver of the Montreal Alouettes? I don't know. I'm going to vote for my guy, Cody Fajardo, because he's my guy. But, we're thinking, I think it was Darren in our morning meeting today, said, should we put on Sean Lemon? He had a huge sack or forced fumble in the East Final. It could be a defensive player, but I can't remember the last time a defensive player won MVP of the Grey Cup. I'll look it up as you talk. I'm going to vote for Cody, but who are you going to vote for MVP of the Grey Cup?
If I'm putting down on it, I'm probably going to put my money on Zach Caleros. Quarterbacks dominate this award typically. I'll put my money on Zach to win it. So yeah, Cody and Zach are probably the two heavy favorites.
Okay, well, I'm going to go back here for a. This is some fun stuff. I told you this will be our most viewed show of the year. Here you go. Hey. I think the last defensive player to be named MVP of the Grey Cup was James Rock Johnson. 2007 Grey Cup, I called it 3 interceptions of Ryan Dinwiddie that day at Rogers Center in Toronto. I think we were still calling it Skydome at that time. On the CBC, Mark Lee and Chris Walby on the call. As I go back and look at in reverse chronological order, here are your MVPs of the Grey Cup, everybody. Oh, hang on. Forget about Enoch Mwamba last year. Before last year.
That's hot.
And Enoch Mwamba of the Argos, Zach Caleros, Andrew Harris, Bo Levi Mitchell, DeVere Posey, Henry Burris, Mike Riley, Bo Levi Mitchell, Corey Sheets, Chad Cackert, Travis Lulay, Jamel Richardson, Avon Coburn, Henry Burris, James Johnson, as mentioned, Dave Dickinson, Ricky Ray, Damon Allen, Jason Tucker, Anthony Calvillo. And that's kind of why we didn't put a defensive player in our list as to who the MVP will be. But those are our votes. He says Zach Caleros, I say Cody. Going to move on here real quick. Hey, I got up to 10 names could be the next head coach of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. I was on the radio in Edmonton this morning, and they said, who's it going to be? I said, that's unfair to ask me because quite clearly they don't know who it's going to be. I see the report. They've asked for permission to talk to 2 Calgary assistant coaches. I would do things differently than pretty much everything that they're doing in Riderville. But if you have no interest, significant intention of hiring these guys, why would you go out and interview them? I don't like it. I don't get it. But that's just another way of doing things. I'm not saying that it's wrong, but you're going to interview 2 assistants, biggest hire of your career, and you're going to go to 2 guys that have never been a head coach before. It makes no sense to me. But names that I've got listed here, Costanza, Milanovic, LaPolice, Pierce, Monson now, Killam, Maximic, Burris, Mace. You can't tell me that anybody could predict who will be the next head coach of the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
I think that's the common thing I've heard out here, too, is that it's really hard to predict. The only name people are comfortable in being confident about is Milanovic. So, I mean, I think it's just because of the talk, but I don't know. It's a really tough thing to try and handicap, to try and bet. But one thing I know, from sniffing around a little bit, is that once they've asked for permission to speak with a coach, I believe the window is 2 weeks to offer a contract. So I think things are going to get moving pretty quick finally on this Rider head coaching search, and perhaps wrapped up before the end of the month.
Darren, that is every CFL topic I wanted to get to with you. I want to get into more coming up next with Jim Barker, and I will tell our audience that in hour 2, there will be more Grey Cup talk, but I also want to get into Carissa Thompson, now admitting that she made up reports on ESPN as a sideline reporter. She is getting eviscerated for it. And obviously our Week 11 NFL Deal or No Deal, that's coming up. I'll let you roam for an hour, Darren, 40 minutes at least. Thank you for this. The Rod Pedersen Show is live at the 110th Grey Cup, as you see, with Darren Moose DuPont. And Jim Barker from the CFL on TSN panel joins us next. We are live on the Game Plus Television Network, WQEE Radio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Live.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
The next stop on the Mixed Doubles Super Series is Winnipeg, Manitoba. Catch all the action from Fort Rouge Curling Club with 3-sheet coverage. Head to MDSuperSeries.com to subscribe today and watch some of the world's best mixed doubles curlers face off live.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Did you know that you can help save life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Hey, it's Grey Cup Friday. We'll be getting a game together to watch the 110th Grey Cup on CFL Plus down here in beautiful South Florida. You can imagine what there is for CFL alumni down here. Tons. And we go to Grey Cup week in Hamilton. There's probably very few busier guys than Jim Barker of the CFL on TSN panel. He's joined us every Friday throughout the season, brought to you by EMJ Marketing. And Jim, thanks for finding the time for us. Grey Cup week. You seem to be, judging by the photos, perhaps the most popular man at Grey Cup week. Can you confirm or deny?
That I'm not sure about, but yeah, I was in Niagara Falls last night for the awards, and I'm actually sitting in my favorite little restaurant, the Hobnob in Niagara on the Lake, on my way back to Hamilton for some more things. But yeah, no, it's a busy week, and just part of the exciting time of being moving to the media side.
Dude, you must be getting this a lot this year. I have a lot of football guys come up to me and just in the last couple of weeks and go, oh, I got an interesting call, but you're media. They give you that look, you're media. So I'm like, well, kid, don't tell me then. I can see why you don't want to be a media guy. Everybody's afraid to talk to you. Are you getting that?
Yeah, no, because I still deny being a media guy. I say I was just joking with Rick Campbell on Wednesday night. I said, you know, I'll never become one of them. I'll always be one of you.
Yeah, I don't think you can. I mean, you can be both. unless you don't want to be both. But that's what you are this week. So Jim, maybe we should jump into the matchup. And I know come Sunday you're going to have to give your pick because I watch every Grey Cup Sunday, and you media people do that. But what's your breakdown of the game?
Well, I think this is a tough call for Montreal. I just, we don't give an Executive of the Year award, but if they did, even though the Argos won 16 games, you have to look at what Danny Machocha did. With the addition mid-season of Darnell Sankey and Sean Lemon in 2012, when we won the 100th Grey Cup, we made an addition around the same time, September, bringing Adriano Belli in, and he just changed our locker room, his personality, everything about him. And it kind of catapulted us. Well, these guys have done this. They've won 7 in a row. Their defense is playing lights out. And anytime that happens, you have a chance. So, if they can keep it close and, you just never know what happens. But, boy, that Winnipeg team they're watching them last week. It was just like the game was never, even though the score wasn't, humongous, they didn't blow them out. They were just in such control of the football game, and they know exactly what they want to do, and they do it so well. They're so physical. I saw Montreal has gone to a lot of this 3-3 since they've gotten Sankey, so they can get Sankey, Avery Williams, and Beverette all on the field at the same time. So a 3-man front with 3 linebackers. And what that does, it really creates some protection issues. There's so many different combinations, and now you have basically, guys coming off the edge, second people that are a little faster and a little bit different challenge for those tackles. They have Hardrick, who lost out to DeJohn Allen last night for the outstanding offensive lineman, and then Stanley Bryant, the defending. I think he's been the offensive lineman of the year in the CFL for the last, it seems like 10 years. So, but those guys, they're going to be blocking smaller guys in addition to Sean Lemon. But with this 3-3 look that Montreal's running, and it's giving people problems. So, it's going to be an interesting matchup. But again, Zach Collaros last year, I don't think I was with Toronto and watching him in the pregame. I don't know if you remember, but he sprained his ankle or something the week. He was not himself. He's going to be himself, and to me, he's just a difference maker. And obviously, his 4th straight start, the first quarterback in CFL history to start 4 straight years in a Grey Cup. It's a great story, and I'm expecting him to play huge. I think that's going to be a lot for Montreal to overcome. Offensively, Montreal is going to struggle. I mean, they've run the ball okay, not great. Cody, if they don't turn the ball over, I don't know if it was on this show, but somebody asked me about last week, and can they beat Toronto? And I said, well, yeah, if Toronto turns it over 10 times. Well, they almost did turn it over. They turned it over 9 times. So, you never know about those kind of things, but Winnipeg's just so well-rounded, and whether they give up the touchdowns the way that Toronto did. I mean, they had 2 pick sixes and a kickoff return for a touchdown. That's 21 points that is tough to overcome, and especially in a Grey Cup game. So I don't see those things happening, but you never know. It's what makes the CFL the great game that it is.
Well, nobody saw the Argo implosion coming, so who knows what's going to come on Sunday. I'm with you. I'm not, unless you want to give your pick right now. Are you going to save it till Sunday, or do you want to make it right now?
No, I'm happy to. I'm going to pick Winnipeg. I just think that they are, they're just too solid all the way around. And, Montreal's offense, Austin Mack is a good young player, and, and Sneed is a good young player, and Stanback is a solid guy. I don't know that Lestage is going to be back on the offensive line. I think that gives them a problem. And again, their defenses, they're playing well, but they're still young. They've got, youngsters in the back end, Stubblefield and Cabianento, and again, this stage it's even bigger than the Eastern Final. Obviously, it's a different type of ball game. So I like having veterans, and that's what the Bombers bring. The Bombers bring a lot of veterans. They've been there, they've done that. They could lose Big Hill, and if that happens, then there's going to be an adjustment there. But I thought Malik Clemens came in and played outstanding for Winnipeg. They actually looked a little faster. Obviously, Big Hill is the heart and soul of that thing, but it's going to be really interesting to watch how Montreal tries to attack them, because that defensive front, the only true game wrecker. I mean, Sean Lemon's had a great year, but Willie Jefferson is a game wrecker. If you're an offensive coordinator, he can absolutely ruin your game. And I don't know if you remember back 2008 when I was in Calgary, Mike Labinjo batted down, I think, 5 passes from Anthony Calvillo, and that was a deciding factor in the game. Well, last week against BA, they batted down 4 passes, and I think one led to an interception. But though, having Jefferson and Jeffcoat coming off the edges, and you get they like to bring Jefferson down into the B gap, and you bring him through the B gap. That's the quarterback throwing lane, and again, there's just so much on that defense to like that. It's going to be interesting to see how Montreal is going to score, how they're going to move the ball, and that type of thing. Like I say, Winnipeg can do it a lot of different ways. Their receiving corps still beat up. Dembski didn't practice much this week. He played last week. Rasheed Bailey, I actually chatted with him a bit, and he's going to play. He does all the dirty work, but he's still not 100%. And those kind of things can affect you.
Oh.
And like I say, we saw last week with basically no receivers, that Winnipeg offense still found a way. 100 yards in the first half for Brady Oliveira. That's tough to beat.
We both got Winnipeg to win the game. But the bar flies, a viewer in Winnipeg writes in and says, the most outstanding player goes to the guy who threw his training staff onto the team bus. That's what I was going to ask you next. We got the game to talk about, but there's also the awards. There's got to be a lot of talk in your circles about Chad Kelly being named the MVP of the league last night. Says he suffered a concussion in the East Final. Frankly, I don't believe that, and I'm a Chad Kelly fan. I'm a fan. I love the comeback story. It's really sad what happened on the weekend, but he can still come back. But what is your take on this whole situation with Chad Kelly, Jim?
Again, I haven't spoken with him, and I am fairly close to him. It's not something I really want to comment about because I don't know exactly the context. Yeah. And again, things can get swapped around in context. I know some media people were upset about it. He had done some interviews, and then he, and didn't mention it, and then he went over to Justin Dunk and almost in passing. And again, is that the right thing? No, it's not the right thing to do. And I don't know what to say. I really don't have any comment on it. I mean, I feel bad that Chad he's made a lot of strides this year. In the last 2 years, he's been 2 years of exactly what you want. And again, that implosion we all watched, it was rare. I mean, I don't know how you explain it. But then to come out of that and if in fact, again, I've heard all the things, but I haven't talked to him. Until I talk to him, find out the context and why he did that and things, I'm going to just not comment on it. It didn't make me real excited, which I've always been excited. I've been a huge Chad Kelly fan from the day I met him when he first got to Toronto, when I was on the staff there. And I've just been a huge fan of his, and I just think he's been doing all the right things, and I think his heart is in the right place. Again, how any of us would react to something like that, and I'm not going to make an excuse for him, because there is no excuse if in fact he threw people under the bus and that type of thing. So again, I thought his acceptance speech was well done. There was nothing at all about any of that, and but I did not stick around to see him afterwards. He was obviously involved in interviews and media interviews and things along those lines. So I really don't want to comment on it, Rod. It's a shame, but again, we're dealing with, you know, a young guy who has a basically unbelievably phenomenal year and deserved that award based on the year he had, taking to a team to 16 wins. Even, you know, I think anytime that happens, that you know, I wanted him to come out of it, and you can't explain it. I mean, watching it my jaw was on the ground. It was almost like it just slipped away, and then he tried to do more, and then he tried to do more, and then he tried to do more. And, you know, it's going to be really interesting because Matt add some intrigue to next year is of how he comes back from this. And is this something that's going to linger with him? I hope not. But like I say, the things you've heard.
Well, let me interject. Because you said you don't want to comment on it. I know where he's at. He had no explanation for what happened last weekend, so it looks like he made something up. I understand the kid. I get it. And I know that you like him. You respect him for what he's done. He's a good kid. I've been in those shoes, so I know exactly where he's coming from, and I think you bring him back and you give him a chance to redeem himself, and he will. He got on the big stage and blew up. It happens. Last one, before we let you go, what are you enjoying about Grey Cup week in your role this time around?
I enjoy seeing the fans. It's, you know, just when you walk around the city and the fans come up and they talk to you. Everybody with gray hair says I'm their favorite panelist. So, you know, it's, you know, those kind of things are neat. It's just fun to get a chance to talk to the fans. It's what I like about the media is, like, right now I'm talking to fans, and that's important to me, to hopefully bring a different perspective, a perspective that really there's nobody else in the media that has. You know, the background I have is just different. And so again, I enjoy that. This league has given me so much, and for me to be able to give back in this manner is you know, it's just special for me. So yeah, that's the greatest thing about the Grey Cup is, I mean, got stopped by some people. It was Saskatchewan, a lady from Saskatchewan, a guy from Hamilton. They're wearing their stuff, their garb. They were married, but that's it. That's what the CFL is. It's a celebration of Canadian football, and that's what's so beautiful. You go to a Super Bowl, it's all corporate. This is what it's about. Yeah. And anybody who comes to it and doesn't fall in love with the CFL, I mean, it's an amazing thing to watch. So that's what I enjoy the most, is just seeing fans just walking in the streets and that type of thing. And Hamilton is the setup is fantastic. Tomorrow we're at the Armory to do our Grey Cup Saturday show. It's just the way they have the whole thing set up is fantastic, and the fans that are here are really excited about being here, and the weather's great. So yeah, no, it's been a fun couple days, and you know, they have an extra day this year, so the coaches had an extra day to prepare. So at the media day, when I was a coordinator, I never got to go to that. I was always working, trying to get, but all the coordinators were there. Everybody was able to come to them and enjoy the media thing. And because because of playing on Saturday, it gives them the extra day of preparation. So yeah, no, it's been a blast.
It all looks absolutely fantastic and very positive. We'll be watching from here. Jim, thanks as always. Hopefully we can do it next week. We'll put a wrap on it.
Okay, great. Thanks, Rod.
Have fun. The CFL on TSN's Jim Barker. Our chat is brought to you by EMJ Marketing. Contact Joe at emjmarketing.com. He'll provide the perfect keynote speaker for your event, including Jim Barker, who's on his roster. We'll be back, and I'll get to all your comments and questions when we return the rest of the way to the top of the hour. And a sports update, too. We're live on the Game Plus television network, WQEE Radio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Live.
IKS Game Day wishes to congratulate the City of Estevan and Affinity Place on their brand new center ice display. This state-of-the-art score clock features 5 LED faces with full motion graphics, scoring integration, and our new Halo mounting system. If it's time for an upgrade, let us show you how to deliver the best fan experience. You can find us at IKSGameDay.com.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. RP Show continues, and it's really going to get fun now. Not like it hasn't been, but it's just you and me until the top of the hour. We had a viewer, Dan, in Winnipeg, right in here last segment and say, hey, Rod, what's the weather like there? And I'm like, where I am or Grey Cup? Explain. It's 31 degrees Celsius and sunny here in South Florida. From what I see, 14 degrees and clear in Hamilton, Ontario. And now it's starting. You Rod Squad, you people that are here every day know that I've been saying for weeks that I can't be at this Grey Cup because of commitments here in the United States. But I'll be there next year with bells on. I should be. That's the plan anyways. But it's also interesting. Again, it's just me and you. We need to talk about some stuff here. All of us. We need to get it straight. And I'll probably save the sports update until next segment. And I don't usually like to break with protocol of what we do here every day. I like to cover all the topics in the warm-up of what went on last night in all the leagues. But it's the Friday of Grey Cup week. It is our favorite football league. We're talking a lot of football. We'll get to the hockey last night because there were some wild games. Vegas winning at Montreal. I watched that one. The Flames beating Vancouver. And everybody's happy in Calgary, and nobody's talking about selling the team in a rebuild. Set your watch by that. But I got to say this. John Ohm, watching in Winnipeg, makes an interesting comment here when we talk about Chad Kelly. He says, we all make mistakes. If we were all perfect, wouldn't life be so great? Come on, man. I know, but I'm wondering, who are you talking to? Are you talking to me? Are you talking to Jim? Are you talking to society? Who are you talking to there? Something triggered in my mind, and yes, thanks, guys. The Sober Carpenter text line is open, 902-518-3033. Thanks for the reminder, by the way. I'm going to go crack one, maybe next segment. Maybe I'll crack two. Sober Carpenter non-alcoholic craft beers, official beverage of the RP show. How about that? The official non-alcoholic beer of the RP show. Jim Barker said he brings something to the role that nobody else in the media in Canada has, and that's his experience as a coach, a general manager. It's true, and that's why he's so great at it. I bring something to the table, too, that nobody else gets. And that's having walked in the shoes of Chad Kelly. And if you wonder why I'm in Florida doing this work, not just with this show, but as a recovery coach, think about this. Within a 3-hour drive, there's 3 NFL teams, 2 MLB teams, 2 NHL teams, more college teams than you can shake a stick at, and literally more high school athletic programs than I could even name. And I'm helping people out here. And that's a commitment that I have to being here, and that's what I do. So in the case of Chad Kelly, it bothers me. Jim was at a loss to explain what happened to Chad Kelly, not only in that game last Saturday where he just inexplicably blew up, and then came out this week and said he had a concussion, and the trainers are saying, oh, no, he didn't. CFL saying, we don't know where he had it. If he had it, we didn't pull him out of the game. I don't know Chad Kelly, but from 100 miles away, I can see it, and I'm just going to say something, and I hope it doesn't upset him or his people, because I'm on his side. But with, talented people that have issues, and anybody would tell you he's got issues. I had a football guy from Mississippi write me this week and say, he's a jerk and a spoiled brat. Well, nobody was saying that all year when he was leading the Argos to a 16-2 record, and then he blows up in the playoffs, and now, me, told you. John Ohm, by the way, says, I'm talking to everyone. We all make mistakes. Take ownership and move on. See, that's what Chad needs to do, and he's not doing that. He can't explain what happened. If you remember, it's on a somewhat smaller scale, but similar. Remember when Carey Price had a brain fart at the draft this summer when he went to announce the Montreal Canadiens' first-round pick at the draft, and he couldn't remember the guy's name? And he was embarrassed, and the whole crowd went, and then he came out the next day, and he apologized. And what did I say? You have these moments, and I call them anxiety blackouts, and what at the time I said, and usually it's saved for the biggest moment of your life. When you have them, you just freeze. Whether it's in the net or on the field or behind a microphone if you're me or wherever, it happens. And that's what I think happened to Chad Kelly. He couldn't slow things down. Chad Kelly's, look at him. He's been given every tool, every gift from God, but he's also been given a hell of a lot of problems too. So he's in the middle of sorting those all out. And all he can do, and I've been there. And people that have known me a long time would know the old me. Rod, why did you do that? I don't know. In my mind, I don't know why I did it, so I'm going to make something up. And that's Chad Kelly. He didn't know why he blew up, why he couldn't slow things down in that game. Got on the biggest stage, and he blew up. And he should have just said that, but he doesn't know what he's dealing with. Jim Barker couldn't explain it. There are very few people on a pro staff that could answer that. I can. So the only thing for Chad Kelly is to come back next year, and he's under contract, multi-year contract with the Argos, and redeem himself again. That's all you can do. And I hope that he's getting the proper support, but very rarely do these teams do it. But these teams here in this state are very forward-thinking with that, and there's a budget for it. Bill in Toronto writes in and says, he did look lost. You could see it in his eyes. So I'm saying, looks like we got a lot to talk about here. And I knew it would be the case. Craig in Calgary says, I really don't understand the need for people to tear others down. No, but that ain't never going to change. That's never going to change. So we need to learn to deal with that as the people that are getting torn down. So we'll be back, and we'll have a little more fun right after this segment. We're live on Game Plus Television during Grey Cup Week on the Game Plus Television Network, WQEE Radio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Live.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult, because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
It's a bit of a quickie here in this last segment of Hour 1. The Moose will rejoin us from Grey Cup Festival to open Hour 2. Going to jump into a sports update here in a second. Just, back to the Chad Kelly stuff. That's the wonderful thing about Grey Cup week. There's the game, but then there's all the other things around the game. And one is this Chad Kelly story. Alan Hordell writes that he says, "You are so right on Kelly, and great explanation, Rod. You know." Yes, thank you. From Jackie, where is it? Jackie says, "This is why I love the RP show. Rod gives insights into this side of sports that other shows don't give." Bill says there's no time to regroup after each pick six. There is, if they'd pulled him out, if they'd known what Chad's blind spots were. You could have put Cameron Dukes in there. I saw Cameron Dukes in the game at some point. Leanne says, "I agree. We all make mistakes under pressure, especially, but if Kelly didn't have a concussion, he better come clean, or his whole organization will be called on the carpet." Well, that's up to them. That's up to them. Again, it's all on Chad. Again, he didn't have an explanation, so I feel he made something up. I've been there. Because here in Florida, I had a guy look me right in the face just a couple weeks ago and go, "How come you're having so much success with these athletes?" Because I've been there. And the second I say that, they know it. It's so rare. These coaches, they don't get a guy like Chad Kelly or people like that. It's unfortunate, but he'll come back next year and he'll be fine. And I don't know if he'll ever own up to this or not. It's tough living your life on a public stage, man. It ain't for the faint of heart. Sports update on this Friday. It was a wild one in Montreal last night. The Canadians and Golden Knights combined for 3 goals in the final 2 minutes, but Vegas managed to hang on for the 6-5 victory. Similar to Ottawa beating Detroit 5-4 in overtime in Sweden. Calgary Flames topped Vancouver 5-2. Elias Lindholm had a goal and 2 assists for the Flames. 3 games today. Is it 3? Yeah, including the Leafs and Red Wings in Sweden. Shohei Ohtani is the first 2-time unanimous winner of the American League MVP award. The two-way star hit 44 homers for the Angels this season. The NL honor went to Atlanta's Ronald Acuna Jr. He became the first big leaguer with 40 homers and 70 stolen bases. Tough night for the Bengals. They lost quarterback Joe Burrow with a sprained wrist and dropped a 34-20 decision to the Baltimore Ravens. And we will play NFL Deal or No Deal next hour and talk about Carissa Thompson's admission that she made up sideline reports while covering the National Football League on national television. Sports updates brought to you by Common Crown Brewing Company, turning your everyday common beer into a unique and exceptional experience. Visit commoncrown.ca. And for Landmark Cinemas in theaters now, 5 Nights at Freddy's. Can you survive 5 nights? Find out at your local Landmark Cinemas. The official cinemas of the RP show. Couple text messages. Dave writing in from Niagara Falls, Ontario. He says, "Thanks, Rod, for having Jim on today. The guy's a great face for the CFL. Should be the commissioner. Go Argos." Ryan in Saratoga, New York writes in. He says, "Good day, Rod Squad. Just taking a break from chores to wish everyone a happy Grey Cup weekend." Daryl Paquette watching in Sherwood Park. He says, "Elks fan here, but I'll be wearing my personally signed Calvillo hat on Sunday, watching the Bombers choke." Lots to get to. And Jeff Reinebold in hour 2 as well. Stick around after this brief break on Game Plus and Key Radio.
all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
The sports landscape continues to change, and teams and facilities are under more pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. They need the right team to deliver their product. Look no further than IKS Live. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience across all platforms.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
IKS Game Day wishes to congratulate the City of Estevan and Affinity Place on their brand new center ice display. This state-of-the-art score clock features 5 LED faces with full motion graphics, scoring integration, and our new halo mounting system. If it's time for an upgrade, let us show you how to deliver the best fan experience. You can find us at IKSGameDay.com.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
One night in Edmonton, we were out on the town, and there was a guy by the name of Bain Norrie.
How about that?
Bain says, "Did I ever tell you guys about the night I was out with the Rolling Stones?" And I'm like, "Come on, what was Mick Jagger like?" And he's like, "Well, no, Mick Jagger and Keith Richards weren't there. It was the rest of the band." And I hit the floor. "You weren't with the Rolling Stones then, Bain."
Keith Richards and Mick Jagger are the Rolling Stones.
Exactly.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the RP Show. Hour 2. As usual, we're here for a good time, not a long time. Or I'm here for a long time, but Moose isn't. I'm in South Florida covering Grey Cup Week, and Moose is at Grey Cup Week in Hamilton at the Grey Cup Festival. And, okay, what's the update? Where'd you move to now, our intrepid roving reporter? What's going on?
Yeah.
Report.
And you tell me if it gets too loud, because I can mute and unmute my mic. But we're down on James Street. We ventured down. We pulled out the umbrella. It's raining a bit, but I want to give you a little look around. I just snuck off the path a little bit. The band has hit the stage. We serving up pancakes right behind us there. So we had a little pancake breakfast, and we're enjoying the street festival right now. And you know what? There's been a lot of fans. Just had a photo op with the fans from BC, Hamilton, and the Baltimore Stallions, Rod, and they were all asking about you. So they can't wait to see you next year in Vancouver.
Take us for a tour. Walk. We have a CNN live feel here. Take us for a tour. Yeah. Give her.
You know what?
I hope everybody's okay with that.
I will drop the umbrella. You know what? If it rains on me, I'll suffer that for a bit. But Hamilton's finest.
Nice.
We're going to take you right over. We'll take you right over here. You'll love this, guys. This is the pancake breakfast. I'd like to flip it around. But that's the wonderful Calgary Grey Cup Committee people putting on the pancake breakfast.
Love
and take a look. Can you see the Grey
the
Cup?
horse?
The Grey. No.
Oh, I thought the horse was there.
Horse, but the Grey Cup is here. Everybody's getting their photos, so it's going well.
Okay. Are you okay with spending about 10 minutes with us here, or what? Looks like you're having fun now.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, I'll
Grey
save
Cup.
NFL.
Have fun.
Yeah, I'll save Deal or No Deal for later. I'll do it on my own. Okay. Just a quick one. Your Titans. What do they got this week? I'm looking. Oh, they're at Jacksonville. Jags favored by 7. Deal or no deal?
No deal. I don't know what's up with the Tennessee Titans right now. But I think it's a division game. I say no deal because division games are close. And Tennessee, I don't know what's going on, but they always seem to play Jacksonville really well.
Okay, so no deal. Okay, Jags favored by 7. We'll do that later on, week 11 in the National Football League. Just pumping the brakes for a second because we've been all CFL so far, which is cool. On Grey Cup week, it's going to be our most viewed episode of the year. You got your eyes lit up when I mentioned the Carissa Thompson story last hour. Like you wanted to address that. And for those that don't know, Fox Sports and Amazon Prime Video host Carissa Thompson used to be a sideline reporter for NFL games, but she admitted that not everything she reported was true. This is from USAToday.com. Speaking on the Pardon My Take podcast, Thompson talked about her experience as a sideline reporter and the conversations they have with coaches and players primarily just before or right after halftime. She said, quote, I've said this before, so I haven't been fired for saying it, but I'll say it again. I would make up the report sometimes because A, the coach wouldn't come out at halftime, or B, it was too late, and I was like, I didn't want to screw up the report, so I'm just going to make this up, unquote. She's getting scorched for this, all in sundry by everybody, it seems, that have been sideline reporters in the broadcast industry. I have my take. I'm very curious in yours as a guy that's filled that role in a variety of leagues and networks and so forth.
It's very, very delicate because, we need to take our job seriously. We need to have trust from our audience that what we're saying is real. I think those are all really important things. I also want to be careful that we don't blow this out of proportion. I've saw some sensational articles that say, well, now the audience will be questioning everything to come out of every sideline reporter's mouth. I'm like, let's pump the brakes on that for a second, because it's not like she was fabricating news items. She was throwing out coach speak, saying, we got to be better in the second half. We got to have less turnovers, and quarterback needs to play better. Things that aren't really newsworthy, okay? Nothing that's going to make a headline. At the same time, it's wrong. Right? Let's not blow this out of proportion, but it is wrong, and you just can't do that. When you come down to you when they come down to you on the sideline and you don't have a coach, I've been there, and I haven't had a chance to talk to the coach. I'd say, look, I'm going to say Blake Nill because he's the coach I just talked to last week. I'd say, Blake Nill was late coming out at the half and had to rush on, so we never got a chance to talk to him. But what I'm thinking is they only had 55 rush yards in the first half. They probably need to get the run going. I'd give my thoughts rather than put words into somebody else's mouth.
Well, you're a talented guy. I wonder if Carissa Thompson will face any discipline over this or lose her job. Probably not. But you never know. I've been doing this for 35 years. I think I logged it 17,000 hours on air. And I've done as Bill Lindsay says, Rod, you've done everything there is to do in this business. I'm like, yes, I have. So I've done the sideline thing. And only one time could I ever think that I spoke for somebody else. And it was only because I knew what he would be thinking. And it was Curtis Hunt, who's now the GM of the PA Raiders, longtime pro. Because I'm so close with him, I knew what he would say. It's the only time. And it's quite interesting because I wouldn't do that. So you're right, it is wrong. And I don't think she'll lose her job over it because she is Carissa Thompson. But Herb Lemaire writes in. Herb is in Melville, Sask, and he says, "You're the best. You speak your mind, not worried what anyone else thinks. Too bad you and Moose moved from Sasky." Well, life takes you certain places, and here's the thing, man. I can't be influenced to lie. And I've said it many times, and nobody seems to care. That's why I'm not living in Saskatchewan anymore. And I'll just stop there. So you got what you got. You and I have picked Winnipeg to win. Jim Barker's picking Winnipeg to win. Do you think anybody on the TSN panel will pick Montreal to win Sunday when they do it and they go across the screen? Do you think?
You know what? I do. I don't think that they want to risk, not that they'll do it planned, but I don't think that it's going to be one way, all Winnipeg, and I don't think you're going to have that bulletin board material. Somebody will pick Montreal, but I bet you it'll only be one or two people.
Can you do me a favor? Because I don't think, I mean, I love Dave Naylor, but I don't think Naylor would do this. Have you run into Matt Dunnigan yet?
Yes.
Okay. Will you run into him again?
Probably.
Okay. The Valdosta Peach, Matt Dunnigan, will you please deliver a message for me? Rod looked it up. On June 8th, Dunnigan predicted a Montreal-Winnipeg Grey Cup. It was June 8th. I don't know where to look to find the clip or even the show, Darren, on YouTube. But can you just tell him, Rod remembers, Matt. Rod remembers. Will you tell him that, please?
I will tell him that. And you know what? You know, you have the date. I'll try and find the clip, too, this afternoon.
Well, I think the time was actually 1:11. I'm not joking. 1:11 Eastern was the time. Yeah, I'm not joking. Another one. We spent a lot of time here on Chad Kelly, not with you, with Jim Barker I did. He said he didn't want to comment on it, and then he spoke about it for 5 minutes. I had to cut him off. Do you believe that he had a concussion in the East Final?
I don't know. It's so tough because it was a bit of the conversation last night at the awards, and obviously they were asked about it. Dinwiddie was asked about it. Dinwiddie says he found out online. You know, offensive linemen in the huddle said, well, they couldn't tell, they didn't know. Fans are saying, well, that's just an excuse for throwing the interceptions. I don't know. I don't know, and I don't really know what to believe. And the one thing is, you know, you hate to put accusations out that anybody knew about a concussion and kept him in the football game for any length of time. So I don't want to put that out there or accuse anybody of knowing and not doing something about it.
Yeah, and I respect your answer. I don't believe it because I've been in his shoes. I haven't been a starting quarterback of a pro football team, but I know things have happened that I didn't have an answer for, so I made something up to give people an answer. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been there, and for that reason, I don't think it's right, but it's caused a lot of problems clearly within his own locker room, and I'm interested to see where this story goes. And I'll read quite a few of the comments here, probably after you're gone. Jeff Reinebold's coming up next segment. John in Winnipeg says, I love these live on the street talks with Moose. We need more of these. Moose at events segments. The RP show rocks. Jackie says Moose would be a better head coach than Craig Dickinson was for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. I'm just reading it. I know that you probably wouldn't agree with that. What else you got for me? I don't want to keep you too long, and I would like to do Deal or No Deal, but now's not the time.
Let's
You're
do
sitting
it.
there on the King Street. Are you sure?
We can rapid fire it. I'm ready.
That? All right, everybody, let's go. I happen to have my crown
and you know
ready.
When it comes to me on the street, I would do these all the time. I just hope the audio's coming through nice and great, and that's my biggest concern.
Okay, no, you're good. You're good. We're going to play NFL Deal or No Deal for our official betting partner, Bet Regal. I give the point spreads as put out by the odds makers at Bet Regal, and Darren decides whether he's going to take the bet or not, and then I follow suit with mine. We already talked about Tennessee at Jacksonville. Jags favored by 7. Darren said no deal. I will take the deal. LA Chargers at Green Bay. Chargers favored by 3. Deal or no deal?
I'll take the deal on that one. They need to get something moving.
They do, but I won't take the deal. I think the Packers, they got to get something going. They got to get something moving. The New York Giants at the Washington Commanders. The Commanders favored by 9. Deal or no deal?
You got a deal. Giants didn't look good. Deal.
Yeah, me too. Giants aren't even a pro football team. The Las Vegas Raiders. They are unbeaten since the coaching change, but they visit the Dolphins here, who are favored by 13.5. Deal or no deal?
No deal. I think the Dolphins win, but it's going to be closer than that.
It's a deal for me, dog. Dolphins get a motorboat. Arizona at Houston. Texans favored by 5.5. Deal or no deal?
Deal. C.J. Stroud. They're talking about him for the MVP, Rod.
Yeah, I know. Deal for me too, dog. Chicago at Detroit. The Lions favored by 7.5. Deal or no deal?
You got a deal there too. It's in Detroit. I think Lions roll.
Pittsburgh at Cleveland. Browns favored by 1. Believe it or not. Deal or no deal?
No deal. I like Pittsburgh in this one. Cleveland doesn't have their quarterback. Pittsburgh has to win.
That times 2. Approved. Dallas at Carolina. 6-3. Cowboys get the 1-8 Panthers. Cowboys favored by 10.5. Deal or no deal?
That's a low line. I like it. Let's go. Let's ride with the Cowboys.
Me too. Tampa Bay Buccaneers at San Francisco.
He's
the
not
49ers
the
favored by 49ers favored by 12. Deal or no deal?
I'll take the deal too on the 49ers. I think they're back. Brock Purdy's back.
Kevin the Medium has chimed in and says Darren should be interviewing fans and getting their picks. Hey, Kevin the Medium, we'll host the show. You do the selling. Seattle at Los Angeles. Seahawks favored by 1. Deal or no deal?
Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take Seattle in that one.
It's a deal from me too. The New York Jets at the Buffalo Bills. The Bills favored by 7. Deal or no deal?
No deal. It's just something's not right now in Buffalo, and the Jets defense will keep them in the football game.
Agreed. Just 2 more games. Minnesota at Denver. Broncos favored by 2.5. Deal or no deal?
Yeah, how many in a row now for Denver? I think the Broncos have turned this thing around. Sean Payton, let's roll.
Deal from me as well. And then on Monday Night Football, a Super Bowl rematch. The Philadelphia Eagles at the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs favored by 2.5. Deal or no deal?
Yeah, I like that too. Philly's been really good, but there's just something not quite there. They're not winning convincing. And Kansas City, I think, it comes out on top again.
You said a deal. You're taking it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Me too. Randy from Winnipeg says he's taking the Chargers by 10 over Green Bay and says he loves the street reporting. Mike in Winnipeg says hashtag Skol. Boy, everybody's loving it, Darren. Brian in Edmonton says it sounds great through my headset. Bill Edwards says just switch cameras sometimes. I don't know about that. Do you want to just do a quick turn, a pirouette, just show the world what you got going on, and we'll let you go.
Let's go. We're going to see Cowboys are doing interviews. Everything's going on down here. I tried to find my guys, give them a shot on the screen, all the fans that wanted the photo, but the band has started up, Rod, so it's a good time probably to say goodbye.
Okay, Darren, great job. Enjoy Grey Cup. Enjoy the weekend.
Thank you.
Okay. Here we go. Dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. Kevin the Medium says you guys get all the fun stuff while I send emails and call people. LOL. Yes. That's how it works. John Burns in Calgary says Moose is a good man. Oh, by the way, were you not in the BC Lions alumni suite? Eating shrimp cocktail? Was that somebody else? I can't remember. We'll be right back with the Sun God, Jeff Reinebold after this. We're live on the Game Plus Television Network, WQEE Radio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Live.
The sports landscape continues to change, and teams and facilities are under more pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. They need the right team to deliver their product. Look no further than IKS Live. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience across all platforms.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
2 million liters of power creates electricity. Electricity creates.
View Casino.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
The next stop on the Mixed Doubles Super Series is Winnipeg, Manitoba. Catch all the action from Fort Rouge Curling Club with 3-sheet coverage.
Yes!
Head to MDSuperSeries.com to subscribe today and watch some of the world's best mixed doubles curlers face off live.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Okay, our Grey Cup week coverage continues on a football Friday, and our next guest is a little like me. You never really know where he's going to pop up, so I'm very excited to welcome in coaching legend Jeff Reinebold, who I just learned this week. The code name for you is Sun God. That's the code. Did you know that, Coach? They call you the Sun God.
I get that. That was a Jerry Glanville creation when we worked together at the University of Hawaii.
It's stuck. It's stuck. They're still calling you that, Coach. Are you a Grey Cup week? You must be. This is your kind of thing.
No, I'm not. I'm actually at home because I wanted to get home and spend a week at home. I've got to go to London on Monday to fulfill my responsibilities with Sky. And, so I'll be doing the NFL game start next week. But again, obviously anybody that's involved with CFL, any Canadian fan, any Canadian, certainly this is the biggest week in the CFL, and I think it's really the best week in Canadian sport.
Oh, I don't think you get too many arguments with that. And are you one of those guys? I used to get it from BT all the time, Brendan Tamman. If we're not in the Grey Cup, I don't want to be there. And I get it. I get it. Are you one of those guys, or how do you feel about that?
Well, there's always a certain element of that. But, I'm a CFL fan first, and I was a CFL fan way before I was a CFL coach. So, I think the whole week and, to have the game in Hamilton, like Regina, those are football towns. And I know that they're going to have a great week, of on and off the field. It's going to be an absolutely dynamite week. The Grey Cup committee's done a great job of, giving everybody that would come something that they can latch onto, something that they can enjoy. And then, that'll all culminate with the game on Sunday.
We got a lot to get to. I'm glad you're here in this segment. It gives us a little more time, Coach. How is it different from any other week as a coach?
Well, I know certainly when, the biggest thing is who handles the distractions of the week the best. And that begins as soon as you win the Eastern or Western final, because then, you do all your preliminary planning, all your preliminary logistics and all of that. But, now it becomes, how do you get families in? How do you get tickets? How do all of those kinds of things that tend to take a player's focus away from the game. And it's going to be interesting this week to watch how this unfolds. Who does the best job of it? Obviously, Winnipeg, you would think, would have the advantage because they've been there so many times. They understand, they played in the Grey Cup in Hamilton. They won one there. Montreal, this is all, new to them. And so I think it's going to come down to who really handles the distractions of the week the best.
And, when you look back at 109 prior Grey Cups, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like the best team generally wins. I'm with you on that distraction thing and everything, but overall, the best team usually wins. Agree or disagree?
Well, I you know what? 109, I'm an old guy, but I ain't that old. Come on now, Rod. You're killing me with that.
Sorry. Well, you can look at the history. Yeah.
But, this is what's going to be key in this game, really. I think, both of these coaches do a great job, both Jason and Mike. And, always in the CFL, the game comes down to the play of the quarterbacks. And, when you look at it that way, you certainly have to say that, Collaros gives you advantage in Winnipeg. But I think the guy that's going to be the most key in this game, I really, truly believe this, is going to be Oliveira, the tailback from Winnipeg. Because what Winnipeg, I'm sure, wants to do is they want to get on top early. And, here's the kind of the factor that a lot of people won't consider, but it's because they have never played in the playoffs in Tim Hortons Field. That wind in that stadium at this time of year can be the deciding factor in a lot of cases, because it's so hard to move the ball into it. You can't punt into it. You can't kick into it. And so I think the team that gets on top first, who wins the coin toss and takes the ball early and chooses to get on top first, because certainly when you look at the two teams, Montreal's not built to play from behind. If they get behind, they're going to need like last week, they're going to need their defense and their special teams to make huge plays to get them back, because I don't know if they have the kind of big strike capabilities that Winnipeg does. And I think for Winnipeg to get on top, and then when they're into the wind, to just be able to pound the ball with Oliveira, which I think they're capable of doing, because Montreal, they do a great job on defense, but you can run a little bit. And that's been shown. And, how are they going to stop the run if all of a sudden they're getting a whole bunch of big personnel and running between the tackles? They're going to have to try and blitz it. And again, that puts you in one-on-one coverage. And we've seen what Collaros can do when he gets one-on-one outside.
I'm certainly no coach, but I've been covering this league a long time, and I know that blocking, tackling, and turnovers are going to be a big factor. And the reason I bring that up is momentum is a really big thing, Jeff. If you need any more
No
illustration this time of year, this is it. Montreal's won 7 in a row coming in. The Bombers have won 5 in a row. And I would be remiss if I didn't ask you about the Argos. They didn't play a meaningful game for 57 days. And they got down early in the East Final, and they couldn't come back. That had to have been a factor why Toronto's not playing this weekend.
Well, I think it, no question about that. And here's the little, with, again, the X factor. If you're looking for X factors for Montreal, is Letcher, the kid that they brought in with about 5 games left as a returner. That guy is electric. I mean, he can hurt you. And we saw what he did. You know, he took one back on us. He took one back in the East Final for a touchdown that really broke Toronto's back. And his ability to create field position, I think, is going to be key in the game. You look on the other side, Winnipeg can counter with, some really good special teams play of their own. Hallett blocked the punt last week, for a touchdown. And, again, to those kinds of plays, those big game, they can factor in a close game. And I think both of these teams are really kicking game, and both of them have electric returners because, again, you see how big field position is in our game. It's so much different. I went to the Bills Monday night game against the Broncos, and, the special teams now have been basically neutered in the NFL because of all the rules changes and the way the kickers can just kick it into the end zone and there's no return. And, I think there were three punt returns in the whole game because the punters the fair catch rule just nullifies great returners. In our league, you can't do that. You've got to put the ball in the returner's hand. And Janarian Grant and electric returners. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a return for, if not a touchdown, certainly a big play to create field position for a team.
It's not uncommon. It's not uncommon. Now, you've been coaching for so long. You've coached in all conditions. The fact that it's going to be above 0, above 32, whatever you Americans say, and nice conditions is a good thing for both teams.
No question. I think so. And Rod, we played in the Grey Cup in Regina that week. It was so bitterly cold, and the cold became a factor in the game. We played in the wind in 21 against Winnipeg, and the wind was a tremendous difference in the game. And who manages? And it's not at Tim Hortons. It's not so much the cold; it's the wind. Because when that wind is going, it's like a wind tunnel in that stadium, and it really makes it difficult on the punters and the kickers, and it can be the factor. And that's why it's so important that when you get the wind, and I think this is going to be really key. Watch this in the game. When you have the wind at your back, who goes up tempo and tries to maximize the number of snaps they get with the wind? And then also when you're into the wind, who slows the game down and goes right to 2 seconds on the play clock every play? Because you can really do a great job of managing the wind if you understand how important a factor it is in that stadium.
We've both been in Ivor Wind and Tim Hortons a million times. We've heard about the wind in Hamilton. Is it not true they flipped from north-south to east-west or vice versa when they built the new place and the wind is worse now? Is that true? That's what I heard.
I think, again, it's always, listen to, first year I was at Hamilton, Paul Osbaldiston worked with us, and Ozzie was a master of the wind in the old Ivor Wind. And he mentioned the same thing, that when they turned the stadium around, it's really created. Now, when it comes from the north, it runs right down the field. And the same thing when it comes from the south, it runs right down the field. And those are the prevailing winds in Hamilton. So when it comes off the escarpment and it blows through that stadium, you better have a kicker and a punter who can deal with that. And again, it's you can say what you want, but it is a huge factor in the game. And how you manage it, how you deal with it, how you understand the clock and how all of those things work. I think that's where, if anybody has an advantage, I think that's Winnipeg's advantage, because Mike's been in that stadium so many times.
You want to make a pick or no?
Absolutely not, because it's the Grey Cup and you cannot predict it. And I mean, and here's the case in point. Like we went in 2019, and we were a 15-3 football team, and we were going in to play a Winnipeg team that we had beaten twice during the regular season. And I thought Orlando did a great job of preparing our team that week. And we got in there, and I think it was about the third play of the game. Dane throws an in cut, and it tips off of one of our receivers' hands. They intercept it, run it down inside, get a short field, jump on top, and all of a sudden, we were fighting for our lives and could never turn the momentum back in our favor. And a lot of that had to do with the fact that, Willie Jefferson just took over, and he has the ability to do that. You saw it last week. I think, again, that's another key factor. How is Montreal going to deal with Willie Jefferson? Because he's a game wrecker, still is at this point in his career.
Oh, man, this was a lovely surprise that you're on today. There's a million questions from the viewers now. They're all queuing in that we got Coach Reinebold, and we don't have time now to go through all of them. I got one just out of my own curiosity because you're here. Ken Dorsey fired as the offensive coordinator. You might have known him from Toronto, right? Former backup quarterback, fired by the Bills. Yep. And I saw this debate raging. They're like, they're top 3 or 4 in every offensive stat. Yet, I see the other side of it. Josh Allen's regressing, and you can't fire Josh Allen. You were there the other night, you said. What do you feel about that move?
Well, I'm going to tell you something, Rod. It's what we all sign up for in this business. And, the reality of it is that the temperature in to the point with Ken Dorsey. I mean, in the last month, because we're so close to Buffalo, there's a spillover on WGR, and you listen to the talk shows, and they were after him for a month. And you could, statistically, it doesn't make sense. But, once they start to beat the drum and you're not playing well, somebody's going to go, and it's not going to be a player typically, and it's certainly not going to be a guy that you're paying, millions of dollars in a guaranteed contract to. It's going to be a coach. It's kind of the nature of the business. But I'll tell you this: I watched the game, and the first ball Josh throws is out in the flat, and Cooks catches it and gets hit and turns it over, and then he runs an in cut, and he throws a perfect ball, right, and Gabe Davis clanks it off his hands, and Simmons intercepts it. And then they got 12 guys on the field on a field goal at the end of the game. He didn't do any of those things, but somebody's got to pay the price, and that's just the way it is. And it's typically going to be a coordinator. It will be the first one to go. But, I feel, do I feel for Ken Dorsey? Yes. Is he a good football coach? Obviously, yes, or he wouldn't be in that job. But for the Bills, they need to shake it up. They're 5-5, and think about this, Rod. They've got Kansas City, Philadelphia, Miami, and Dallas all coming in the back 7. And if they don't win, I'm serious. They're 5-5. If they don't get to 9 wins, they're not going to be in the playoffs. And so it's desperation time in Buffalo right now.
Okay, now you're explaining it. Yeah, he'll just be the first of many out the door. With the sense that I'm getting. I had an old hockey coach friend, Terry Simpson, that said the more you get fired, the more desensitized you get to it. Is that true?
Yep, I think it's true. And the great Bum Phillip, one of my all-time favorites, said this: there's only 2 types of coaches: them that's been fired and them that fired. Oh, you just get used to it if you're in this business.
Okay, last one. It's a fun one from John in Calgary. John Burns, he says, was Toronto cursed by 16-2? The only other 16-2 team lost as well, 89 Eskimos. I just put do you believe in curses? And so was it not a good thing to have the best regular season record ever in Argo history?
I do believe it because, the hardest thing to do with a football team, and I don't care if you're 16-2 or 2-16, is to not listen to the noise, to not hear the noise from the outside. And, once they got to about 14 wins, now the big speculation on 3 Down Nation and in this .ca and all of it was, is this the greatest Canadian football team in history? And all, it's hard to shelter your players from that, and you get you get success flu, and all of a sudden you get a bad case of success flu and you get bounced out of the playoffs in the first round.
Yeah, well, what does Saban call it? Rat poison. as you know. Coach,
That's exactly right.
This was a wonderful surprise. Thanks for this. Keep in touch and enjoy the big game. Enjoy your time at home.
Well, we will, Rod, and I look forward to being with you guys all the way through the playoffs and up.
Oh, good. Absolutely. Let's get a sponsor this time. We got our sales guys watching for sure. Thanks, Coach.
All right.
Jeff Reinebold
all right, thank you.
Checking in from across the pond. We'll all be tuning in for the 110th Grey Cup this Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern. We'll be back with a sports update and overtime audience takeover right after this. We're live on the Game Plus TV network, WQEE Radio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Live.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
Hi, my name is Logan Stankoven. And I'm Connor Bedard. We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors. There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life. Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Here we go, everybody. Hope you're having as much fun as we are on this Football Friday. It's our final Friday show of the CFL season. How about that? Oop, that just glitched on me. That just dawned on me. Final Football Friday of the CFL season. Woo! I'm not saving some big pick for the final day. I've been saying it for the last couple days. Bombers by less than 6. I'll be cheering for the Montreal Alouettes. That's probably news to no one. It's just me and you the rest of the way, and then the IKS crew, producer Clark, director Jordan. I'll tell you, the Sober Carpenter text line is open, 902-518-3033. Now would be a good time to reach me. I got a few messages to get to from you, the audience, and I want to get to a sports update here. Interesting, Matthew Barnaby writing regarding the Carissa Thompson admission that she made things up while being a sideline reporter for the NFL. Barney, no stranger to this show, he says, I know Carissa, and she's an awesome person as well as great broadcaster. She will continue to crush it. Thank you, Barney, for that. For those that don't know, she admitted to making up reports as a sideline reporter in the National Football League. Why would you do that? I mean, honest. Why would you do it in the first place, let alone admit to it later, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But I don't think she's going to be let go for this or face any discipline for this. I really don't. And people will forget about it within 24 hours. So the poll question for Key Yorkton Kia. By the way, the all-new 2024 Kia Sportage reimagines innovation in motion. It pushes the boundaries of urban SUV design and technology with refinement and purpose. Go to KeyYorktonKia.com for more information. The 2024 Kia Sportage, movement that inspires. The poll question today, who will be the MVP of the 110th Grey Cup? Your options are the quarterback, Zach Collaros of Winnipeg, Cody Fajardo of Montreal, Brady Oliveira, the running back for Winnipeg, or Austin Mack, star receiver of the Alouettes. How about this? 56% of you saying Brady Oliveira. And that's what's awesome. I mean, we're CFL people here. We're CFL guys, but mindful of the demographics of our audience. We don't probably talk as much CFL as we would like, but we're going to do it today, and we've been doing it all week. This is our highest viewed week on a yearly basis, Grey Cup week. And the point is, it's fun to go back and look at all these things, like going back and looking and seeing who the past MVPs have been. And to be honest, this isn't as similar as being at Ballers Rec Room last year, sitting and telling all these Grey Cup stories with the likes of Pinball Clemens and Matt Dunnigan and Rod Smith. But we'll do it all next year. Naylor, now that I think about it, we had everybody, Players Association sending guys. We'll do it next year in Vancouver. But I couldn't do it this year due to commitments here in the States. But Brady Oliveira, 56% of you voting for the most outstanding Canadian, runner-up for the MVP of the league. Brady Oliveira, you say, will be the MVP of the Grey Cup. But you look back, last year it was a linebacker, Enoch Mwamba. Most times it's a quarterback. Bo Levi's got his name on there. Henry Burris a couple of times. Corey Sheets, 2013 Grey Cup. These numbers are burned on my brain. 197 yards rushing in the Grey Cup. A game that I called Saskatchewan Roughriders beating Hamilton 45-23 at Taylor Field in Regina. Yeah, it's a very special week, as we all know. Sober Carpenter text line open, as I said, 902-518-3033. Bill Edwards, watching in Regina, writes in and he says, CFL players' hospital visit didn't seem to get any coverage. Could you give them a shout out? Consider it done. And I didn't know that they did. Although Clark's been telling me the CFL's been sending us video. Send it to me, Clark, please. Okay. Regarding Darren's roaming interviews. Who didn't love that? Bomber Boy, watching in Calgary, wishing he was in Hamilton, writes in and says, well, who doesn't enjoy a loose moose on the streets? That was really great. Darren DuPont, he started something, I feel like, if he's willing to do it. Gosh knows there's enough things to do around the Toronto area. Darren could be our roving reporter from now to the end of time. I think we all vote for that. Bomber Boy goes on to say, Happy Football Friday. Congrats to Chad Kelly for winning the most outstanding player. Unfortunately, it's being overshadowed by his latest throw as an Argo by throwing his team under the bus with his phantom concussion excuse. Sorry, not buying it. That's tough. This is for Chad Kelly to own. And it would be a discussion between just Chad Kelly and I where we would get him through this. All year long, he had the CFL media, CFL fans, Toronto sports fans kissing his butt, courtside seats for the Raptors, Raptors jersey with his name and number on it, the guests on the appearances on the Jay On Right show, whatever they're calling it now, Sports Center with Jay. That's the good. And then what happened on the weekend was the bad. So, polar opposites. And I don't believe his story that he had a concussion either. I think that he had no explanation for what happened. Why he had a brain fart multiple times in the biggest game of his career. We addressed this earlier. So he made something up. That's what I think. I don't even know the guy, but I can also see it from 100 miles away. So he'll come back, and I hope that he has a great redemption story. I just don't like that the people that have turned, those that loved him all year, the media, the fans, that was awesome, but now they've turned on him, and that sucks. But that's life. We'll get to the sports update when we come back. And the last of your comments, and we'll turn you loose on Grey Cup weekend. It's a Football Friday on Game Plus TV, WQEE Radio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Live.
The next stop on the Mixed Doubles Super Series is Winnipeg, Manitoba. Catch all the action from Fort Rouge Curling Club with 3-sheet coverage.
Yes!
Head to MDSuperSeries.com to subscribe today and watch some of the world's best mixed doubles curlers face off live.
Hi, my name's Logan Stankoven. And I'm Connor Bedard. We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors. There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life. Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
IKS Game Day wishes to congratulate the city of Estevan and Affinity Place on their brand new center ice display. This state-of-the-art score clock features 5 LED faces with full motion graphics, scoring integration, and our new Halo mounting system. If it's time for an upgrade, let us show you how to deliver the best fan experience. You can find us at IKSGameDay.com.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
This is it, the last segment. So now's the time to hit us up. This sounds like a Yogi Berra-ism, but as I look at the Sober Carpenter text line, big problem that we've gotten all these new viewers, 1.4 million new viewers on Shaw Rogers Cable. There's so many I can't get to them all on my phone. Too many people watching. It's a problem. Too many people writing in. There was a guy that wrote in earlier on that Sober Carpenter text line, 902-518-3033, and he's regarding John Ryan, the Super Bowl winning punter of the Seattle Seahawks, throwing his name into the ring to be the next head coach of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and he's serious. Somebody wrote in about that. And on a day like today, Football Friday, I'll allow it, but not really playing that game. And I appreciate those that watch this show every day. You get it. Told you 8 million times I'm not the Rider guy anymore, A. B, with the search of their head coach, it's comical now that everybody's thrown their name into the ring. And if I was doing the hiring, I would know who I would want. I would go approach him or her and offer the job, and away we'd go. At the pageantry and the pomp and circumstance. And that's just a different way of thinking. It's the way the Riders are doing it. A lot of teams do that. I wouldn't do it. It's wasting a lot of people's time, but I'm not going to have mine wasted. Call me when there's a news conference. Overtime is brought to you by our friends at Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary. Have you booked your Christmas party yet? If you haven't, there's still time for the office, for the team, for the family. Call Overtime Hockey Lanes, ask for Randy or Michelle. Book your lane. I'm a little partial to the Rod Pedersen Show lane, and tell me it wasn't the best fun you ever had with your clothes on. Where skill and fun collide, an amusement park for hockey enthusiasts. Overtime Hockey Lanes. Thank me later. 28th Street Northeast in Calgary, just a slap shot away from the Old Crossroads Flea Market. A sports update on this Friday. I said I was going to push the hockey into the sports updates and save the rest of the show for football. The Toronto Maple Leafs face off against the Detroit Red Wings today in Stockholm, Sweden as part of the NHL's Global Series. The Wings opened the Swedish trip Thursday with a 5-4 overtime loss to Ottawa. Leafs entered tonight's game on a 2-game win streak. The surging Winnipeg Jets are home to the Buffalo Sabres tonight. The Jets have won 4 of their last 5 and have moved into 3rd place in the Central Division of the National Hockey League. The Sabres, meanwhile, have dropped 2 straight and have lost star center Tage Thompson to injury. The Toronto Raptors open play in the NBA's in-season tournament tonight by hosting the first-place Boston Celtics. The two teams met last Saturday in Boston, with the Celtics recording an easy 117-94 victory. Somebody wrote in earlier and said to me, do you think the NHL will adopt the in-season tournament? No. I'm not going any further on that. Grey Cup week continues in Hamilton ahead of Sunday's big game featuring the Winnipeg Blue Bombers and Montreal Alouettes. 2 teams practicing today at Tim Hortons Field. Thursday night, the CFL doled out its annual awards, with Argos quarterback Chad Kelly being named the league's most outstanding player. Winnipeg running back Brady Oliveira was named top Canadian. Sports Update is brought to you in part by Landmark Cinemas in theaters today. Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, starring Rachel Zegler and Tom Blythe. And also Common Crown Brewing Company, turning your everyday common beer into a unique and exceptional experience. Visit commoncrown.ca, where they know the best beer is the one that's earned. Okay, Just checking the text line again, 902-518-3033. Regarding the poll question, who will be the MVP? Bomber Boy writes in and says, I do wish I was in Hamilton. He says Zach Caleros was playing with a bum leg last Grey Cup. He'll look like an out MOP in this big game. Yep. Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern. It's interesting that we have not had Kirk from Toronto write in today on the biggest football Friday of the year. The big Argo fan has not chimed in today. Clearly, he's got something else going on. I find it a little ironic and somewhat comical that all year long he was so riddled with anxiety about the fact the Argos were going to clinch too soon. And what are we going to do about it? And blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, just relax. But he was right. He was right. They did clinch too soon, and they didn't make it to the Grey Cup. And the thing is, the onus could be to say, well, at least they won it last year. Yeah, but Chad Kelly wasn't the starting quarterback, and no two teams are the same, and he was right. He was right. But as I say, worrying is like rocking in a rocking chair. It gives you something to do, but doesn't get you anywhere. BW in Edmonton says, I don't understand what this in-season tournament is all about. Neither do I, and I'm not spending any more time on it. Other than to read Jackie's comment. Jackie says, I want to see the Raptors win the in-season tournament just to annoy the rest of the league. LOL. Randy in Winnipeg. Great CFL week, RP crew. Enjoy the game, everyone. Wayne in Victoria, BC. I love Football Fridays, and this Football Friday is one of the best. Jackie says, by the way, John Ryan would make a heck of a special teams coach, to be honest. Yeah, but if you know Johnny, and I've known him a long time, why stop there? He wants to be coaching the whole shooting match. That's John Ryan for you. Why stop at a position coach? David in Winnipeg says, great show this week, Rod. Go Bombers. Sweep the Bombers. That's a John Lynch line. Producer Clark says Bombers by 12. Last minute of play. What are we going to do? Take it one day at a time, baby. As always, got my CFL peeps down here are busy in games this weekend. Matt DeBuck, the former Bombers and Argos receiver, is coaching Cardinal Gibbons High School regional semifinals. Saturday, noon kickoff at Bud Tite Field. I'll be there for that. Andrew Nowacki sells real estate, former Edmonton Eskimo. I believe he won 2 Grey Cups with Edmonton. He's here, but he's selling houses. So we'll figure it out probably Sunday morning if we're all going to get together and watch this thing on CFL Plus. But whatever you decide to do, make it a safe one. God bless the CFL. Thanks to Global Toronto, Global Montreal, and Sports Edmonton Radio 1440 for having me on today. And we'll see you Monday right back here noon Eastern. Game Plus and McFly, hello.